Today, people with diabetes spend over $4,000 annually, and the prices keep on rising. I believe that insulin should be free to all carriers of type 1 and type 2 diabetes. I am sharing this information that I have gathered from online resources to tell you why I believe that insulin should be free. In this speech, I will tell you about the advantages of making insulin free for everyone who may need it, and the disadvantages of charging people for this life-saving medication. And now I will discuss the advantages of making insulin free. Insulin is a life-saving medication for people with diabetes that they have no choice but to pay for. For most people, they are born with this disease, so why should they have to pay for something that they have no control over? If insulin was free, more people would be able to survive from this disease. And Right Care Alliance says it is a medication that can be produced for just a few dollars, but manufacturers Eli Lilly, Sandy, and Novo Nordisk mark up the prices as much as 5,000%, and there are 7 million Americans with diabetes that have no choice but to pay. This is an example of what some insulin is. This is a single dose for my father, and he said that this cost up to $30 with insurance. People have resorted to using expired insulin or trying to ration their insulin to try to save as much as possible. Right Care Alliance says rationing is extremely dangerous and can lead to a deadly condition known as diabetic ketoacidosis. Insulin companies are taking advantage of a life-threatening disease to increase profit margins. If insulin companies could not only lower their prices but make it free, it would put 29 million people's minds at ease. The number of people with diabetes is constantly rising, and Healthline.com says 29.1 million people in the U.S. have diabetes, but 8.1 million may be undiagnosed and unaware of their condition. If insulin was free, more people would speak up and get tested instead of trying to cope without it. They would not have to worry about how they are going to get their next vial, and they would be able to get it worry-free. Now I will talk about the disadvantages of charging people for their insulin. If we continue to let insulin companies price gouge, these things will only get worse for the people with diabetes. People will continue to try to find ways in order to survive, and it will only make the problem worse. According to AJMC.com, back in 1996, when Eli Lilly's Humalog first came out, the price for a 1-month supply of insulin was $21. Now, as of 2001, that exact vial's price was increased by $14 to $35. And now in 2019, that vial is said to be $275. That is a 1,200% increase from the original price. Although the value of the dollar has only increased by 62%, the price of insulin has increased by 1,200%. Pharmaceutical companies will not state why insulin prices have risen so much, which only leaves us to wonder why. Some companies have offered a generic insulin, which is a step in the right direction, but not the results that we need. AJMC.com also says, as of March 2019, Lilly has launched a generic version of Humalog, or insulin lispro. One vial of this generic insulin is half the price of its brand name alternative. This is good for people having trouble to pay for insulin, but not the solution that we need. Pharmacist.com says, out of 191 patients who completed the survey, 51 reported cost-related insulin underuse, resulting in 1 in 4 patients experiencing cost-related insulin underuse that is associated with poor glycemia control. If insulin prices are not changed, more and more people will continue to suffer and they may not have the money to afford the insulin that they need. Insulin is a life-changing, life-saving medication for people with diabetes that should not have to pay for. Insulin companies need to find a way to make insulin free, or at the very least at the cost of production. It is simply unfair to the people with diabetes to have to pay for the current prices of insulin. Making insulin free would help nearly 29 million people and could save many lives. Insulin companies should be looking for ways to not only reduce prices, but to make it free for anyone who needs it.